So Karun, tell me about your love of textiles and where that all began for you.
It started when I was really young. We were living in Delhi and my mum had a tailoring couture shop, and I was being taught to embroider, stitch, smocking and all sorts of things. So I started feeling textile, holding silks, brocades and beautiful embroideries. So that's how it really started. In 1982, when I just left university, I started traveling. And that's the first time I started buying Banzara embroidery, which are abstract, beautiful embroideries in India. The idea at that stage was just to acquire a few beautiful things, but what I didn't realize is that's going to be my lifelong passion. And now, after 40 years, I have acquired a huge number, tens of thousands of textiles from all over the globe. At Osterley, we're exhibiting baghs and phulkaris. Bagh literally means garden and phulkari means flowerworks. And the embroidery is done for weddings. It's quite difficult to talk about a piece that I have in my collection, which is very personal. So my mum's eldest sister, Banarso, she had got married in Lahore a few years before the partition, India's partition, where millions of people died and tens of millions were displaced because there was violence in India's part, Pakistan. People were butchered, it was this really violent time. And my mum and her family lived in Lahore, which was in Pakistan, and as Hindus, they had to leave. So they couldn't travel with much. They could only wear simple clothes, otherwise they would have been robbed. But my aunt was trying to hide some gold ornaments, and she actually had 3 strips of a bagh, which is this bagh fragment. So she jewelry was wrapped into 3 strips. I've had it restored now as one piece. So then she hid the wrapped jewelry on her person. It dates from 19th century, done in Hazara region in Pakistan. So she gave me these strips. So, this was journey of my family to do with the partition, but it's also so beautiful, such a beautiful object. And she didn't give it to any of her family members because when I asked her that, because obviously people were interested in the gold she brought, but not in a bit of 3 strips. And so journeys, have very different meanings. And just a cloth can evoke all those histories to do with, in this case, partition, displacement, loss of life, loss of family, loss of livelihood.
Gosh, that illustrates, I think, how one simple textile can tell you something very profound about a particular moment in history, but also something much broader about the human condition and how memory works and how objects and textiles in particular can evoke particular memories, and that's a very personal one for you, so thank you for sharing that with us. You do have the most astonishing collection of baghs and phulkaris. It is extraordinary. How many are you going to be sharing with Osterley's audiences?
I think we're looking at 70 or 80, depends on how many I can get away with, because I want to create this, feeling of abundance of sort of rich colour. The silks, as you saw in this fragment, they're embroidered with floss silk. So the history is fascinating of bags because the cotton is woven by women and then spun by women to make ground cloth, which is called khadar. Then it's dyed with the dyers, and then women embroider it with floss silk using the back of the fabric so that silk isn't lost at all. So most of the silk is used in the front. So the whole process is fascinating, and they're done from a very early age by young girls, and there are records saying that these were done in groups. So a session for the groups of women coming together to support each other, and very positive sort of way of working. And then you've got these needles who are putting little dreams of young girls into this fabric, about the future life, the marriage, and what's going to happen to them.
The installation at Osterley is going to be very celebratory, both in terms of the beauty of these objects, how many they're going to see, but also the story that is going to be woven through the galleries. Can you talk us through what people will be able to see?
Osterley, I really want to take people through the journey of wedding, because there's specific baghs embroidered for specific events. For example, Wari is a ceremony where the bridegroom's family bring baghs for the bride. So they tend to be on red grounds and quite different aesthetically. Then you have the chura ceremony when the red bangles are placed on a bride. So you have a different bagh for that. And then you've got the henna ceremony when they apply that. So some of it is a bit of guesswork because it's only anecdotal evidence. And then you have the fera where they go around the fire 7 times, so that's a different bagh for that. Then you have the farewell and doli, which is traditionally is a sort of very tearful thing. So that's when the bride departs. So, I wanted to show a single figure departing. So we're taking us through a journey of the group of people coming together, celebrating in different aspects, and then departing. And in addition to that, I've got some in the collection which we're exhibiting called darshan dwars. So darshan basically means confronting the divine. So dwar is a door, so entering at the door of the divine. And also there's the chand baghs. Chand literally means moon. They're the white ground ones. So there is quite a bit of evidence that they were used for one specific ceremony called Karwa Chauth. That's when the wife would fast for her husband for a day. It's a yearly event. So you fast all day, and then in the evening when the moon appears, you look at it through a sieve. So that's when you're allowed to break the fast. So the moon bagh, chant, is all white embroidered. So it makes sense to have that connection.
Can you tell me how important it is to have a bit of your own personal history in the exhibition?
I was born in Kenya, and then we journeyed to India. And from then we came to Britain in the 70s. So journeys are something, I think every person walking through the door to see the show will identify it, whether it's just a train journey or a night journey. Some journeys are pleasurable, others are quite painful as well. And what I love is that everyone's going to bring in their own memories or histories and journeys of textiles, and then they can confront another journey. For example, the journey I'm presenting with my family. And I think a lot of those are just global stories which actually link all of us, which unite us. And that's what's so exciting about collecting textiles, is that they become as a means of bringing people together, because we all share very similar histories and stories.